The Zacks Rank, value, momentum, growth, and income all factor into Zacks Rank buys.
Large cap stocks with solid dividends, that's what our value strategist, Tracey Ryniec, has uncovered this time around. She's here with me now to talk more about them. So these are value stocks.
Yep.
These names kind of surprised me a little bit as far as the dividends they were paying.
Yeah.
We'll get to both of them here. Intel, the first one, INTC, the ticker.
Right. I think a lot of investors kind of have been looking around at the small caps recently, but some of the big caps definitely have value here now that we've had the pullback. And we're starting to see these earnings reports come in. And Intel is one of them that had a much better report than expected. They are seeing some strength in the PC area, which nobody expected because that has been weak. And then they're seeing a little weakness on the tablet side, but the cloud is also seeing strong demand. So the semiconductors maybe aren't quite as bad as everybody thought. And the economic conditions are supposed to improve by next year. So you're having a better outlook than expected, and you can see the analysts really like what's going on here. Overwhelming analysts have been raising the estimates for this year and next year based off these numbers because, again, the outlook is expected to be a little bit better as we go forward into 2016. It's trading about 15 times, so it's not that expensive here. It is off the lows, but still not back to those 2014 highs. So I still think, that this is a buying opportunity here. And you're getting a really good dividend yield of 3%.
Yeah, that's what surprised me.
Yeah,
that
you wouldn't
3%.
think. Right, these tech titans, some of these older ones are now, kind of lucrative for investors. So as far as dividend yields.
Yeah. All right, well, this next one here, not quite as big a dividend, but respectable nonetheless.
That's
Delta
right.
Airlines.
Yeah.
DAL, the ticker.
I can't believe I'm still recommending the airlines.
Yeah, I can't either. But
they've been, the dead sector for decades, it seems, but they're all turning it around, and Delta is one of those. They are one of the big U.S. airlines, and they have about 800 flights, both domestic and international. They've been benefiting from the fuel, obviously. That's the big play here. They have a hedging program, and they have been taking some losses from that, but that's starting to work its way through. They actually own a refinery, which I didn't realize. I think they might be the only airline that owns its own refinery.
Never knew that.
Yeah, they made $87 million in profit off of it this last quarter, so that's kind of countering some of the hedging losses. But there's some issues with the airlines with ticket pricing and capacity. There is demand, there's strong demand, but when you see the strong demand, a lot of the airlines kind of rush in and add routes, and then that hurts the pricing. So that is something to watch. But analysts, again, kind of like what's going on here. You can see the estimates are definitely rising for this year, 40% earnings growth, and then another 22% expected for next year. They are generating this huge cash flow because of where the fuel is, and they had like $1.4 billion in this last quarter. That's enormous for an airline. Again, I can't believe I'm talking about cash flows like this. They bought back $425 million in shares, so they are returning a lot of it back to the shareholders, and then they have the dividend yield.
1.1%.
1.1. It's not as big as Intel's, but with the share buybacks and the yield, shareholders are seeing a nice little, payout here.
Sure.
And then you look at the chart, shares up big in 2014. The airline sector was the best performing sector in 2014, and then it's basically stagnated because the fuel issue was already priced in, and everybody said, oh, we're done with the airlines now, that story's over. But if you look at this chart, it does look like Delta's primed to break out here again. It's trading only around 10 times. It's a little more expensive than it has been historically, but it's got, a lot of drivers under it here, and the analysts definitely like it going into next year now. So I'm kind of bullish on Delta and these airline stocks if we can see this breakout.
Yeah, interesting stuff. Do you own either one of these?
I do not.
All right. Check out other stock picks, stock picking strategies, and more stock information on our website, Zacks.com. If you're not there already, get on over to the homepage. You can link to all of that information and more right from there. Now, if you're watching these videos that we produce on the YouTube platform, don't forget, there is where you can subscribe to them and even comment on them. With Tracey, I'm Terry Ruffalo.